will just continue to live in secrecy. Just continue to skip reps in the gym because you're tired and you don't want to be there. You'll just continue to feel insecure when your partner intimately touches you. You will just continue to make up reasons why you can't go out with friends, all because you hate how your clothes fit. So my question to you is, where are you? I wish that I had somebody in my ear to ask me that question when I was hiding from my truth. Welcome back to another episode of the More Than Just Physical Show. Real short and sweet episode coming at you today. We are diving into what is an absolute prerequisite when it comes to creating transformation in your life. And sure, we can talk about muscle gain. Sure, we can talk about fat loss. But I'm talking about top to bottom transformation. I'm just not talking about the way that you look physically or the way that you feel physically or the way that you're functioning physically when it comes to metabolism, hormones, digestion, so on and so forth. I'm talking about how this transformation leaks into and seeps into, it impacts your relationships, how you show up in your career, how it gives you more purpose and meaning in your life, how this transformation fulfills you, gets you on fire to live your life and out of autopilot and out of repeating the same patterns and repeating the same loops and living the same old life with the same old people and the same old environments. Just, truth be told, just not happy about where you are. But the truth is, I'm going to say that word a lot in this episode, truth. Nothing changes until you tell the truth. Nothing changes until you start making the simple decision to tell the truth in every single aspect of your life. Nothing changes until you look in the mirror at yourself long enough and get very, very clear on where you are falling short, where you are not meeting your own standards, where you are letting yourself down, and to another level, where are you letting others down? The truth is, no matter who you are, where you are, you lead somebody in your life. I don't know if that's a brother or a sister or a kid or a client or a coworker or a team that you're responsible to. Whatever that is, there's someone in your life that looks to you for answers, that looks to you for guidance, that looks to you as an example for them. And when you get to a place to where you realize, damn, me not playing at the level that I want to, me not taking care of my health at the highest level I possibly can, how is this setting an example for others around me? How is this paving a path for my future? How is this moving me forward in life? The truth is, it's not. And when you sit and experience and feel what it feels like to not be that leader for yourself and not be that example for yourself, and as a byproduct, not be that leader for friends, family, other people in your life that you deeply care about and want to see win, things feel pretty empty. You do experience some level of feeling unfulfilled. And that feeling is not comfortable. It's not a fun one to sit with. As humans, our brain is quite literally designed to avoid that feeling as much as we can and try to fill the void with fucking mindless scrolling on TikTok, with procrastination, with making the easy decisions. Like, when was the last time that you had a super uncomfortable conversation with someone meaningful to you that you were pushing off for a long time? And in the process of pushing off that conversation, maybe you grew resent towards the individual. It ended up causing you a lot of inner turmoil and conflict because of the way that you were feeling about the situation. Yet you were irresponsible in your communication, and you kept pushing off the uncomfortable conversation further and further out of maybe fear of how they were going to react. You're maybe writing narratives about how they were going to react. You wanted the conversation to go such a specific way, and if it did not, you immediately wrote the story and the narrative that you were going to be upset, that you were going to walk away, so on and so forth. I think we've all kind of been in that situation. So it's always going to be easier to write those narratives. It's always going to be easier to come up with every possible reason why we should not do the uncomfortable thing, which is incredibly simple. And I think we can all think about a time where we did have that uncomfortable conversation. It was incredibly rewarding. You learned a lot about the other individual. You grew a lot in your communication. It ended with a hug, maybe a cry, and you're just like, hell yeah, like, I feel even more connected to you. Oh my gosh, like, thanks so much for being so honest. And the other person opens up, and it's like a beautiful connecting experience. And we love that, right? But again, we like to put all of these barriers in front of the action or the thing that are super simple to move forward with, because we're afraid of the outcome, because we'd rather sit there and avoid any kind of conflict or any kind of pain. And so we'd rather just keep pushing the conversation off, completely unaware that it's causing us more pain to keep doing that than just have the simple conversation. This comes down to, oh man, I'm so fucking tired. I don't want to make a meal. I'm just going to order takeout. We've all been there. I've fucking been there. How often are you making the easy decision? Oh, I know I got this project coming up. I know I got to get this done on time. But I'm just going to keep scrolling on social media and find everything that I can possibly do to put in front of the thing that I know is going to take the most amount of effort, that I know at some level I have such a high standard to excel with that it needs to be so goddamn perfect. And the idea of it needing to be perfect is the thing that's actually making me procrastinate. We're always going to create walls. We're always going to create barriers. We're always going to create a buffer between thought and action because it's what's safer for us to do. It's easy as shit to hit the snooze button as soon as you wake up. It's easy as shit to feel tired and skip reps in the gym and be like, all right, well, I got it in. I showed up today, but you didn't go the extra mile. You didn't complete the program. You didn't complete each rep and each set to the best of your ability, and you just went through the motions. It's easy to live in autopilot like that. I think we can all resonate. Maybe this will click for you. You ever gotten like invited out to go to dinner or maybe have a few drinks, but you were like super busy, you had a lot going on, crazy hectic day, and you complained out loud or even to a friend, like, fuck, like, I got so much shit to do, everybody's inviting me out, like why doesn't anybody else have shit to do, like, what the hell? Like, and then maybe that friend goes, well, why don't you just say no? I literally get pissed. And I look at them like, fuck, you're right. I should just say no. Because I know better than to sit there and complain about anything I can complain about, instead of just telling them no. Instead of doing the simple thing and just saying no, I'd rather sit there and complain and bitch and moan about why I'm getting invited out and I have all this shit to do. Because again, it's just easier to be frustrated. It's just easier to be negative. It's just easier to make the easier decision. It's easier to not say anything at all to that individual or make up some random fucking excuse. And if you are so used to making up random fucking excuses about why you can't, quote unquote, go out with your friend, the fact that you're doing that with somebody else probably shows me that you're also doing that to yourself and putting up bullshit barriers and excuses to do the simple things in your life that you know are going to drive the needle forward. The truth is, the easy decision is always going to be the enemy of real progress in your life. And I want to share a personal story and where all that's really roots back from. And I think about this time and I can remember all of it so vividly. There was a time where I was living in college. I had 3 roommates. And there was a night where I remember just crushing a whole sleeve of Eggo waffles, a pint of Halo Top, even stole some of my roommates' Pop-Tarts. Not proud about that one, but I ran out of food, ran out of shit, so I had to do what I had to do. I would literally hide the wrappers in the trash of that food at the bottom of the trash can so they would not notice. I'd go into my room, I would lock the door, I would stare at the ceiling, wondering what was wrong with me. A day would go by, I would show up to the gym the next morning, and in my car, I can literally remember where I'm at. I'm in the parking garage, I'm in my car, there's snow falling, there's frozen ice on my windshield, shout out to Nebraska, and I'm literally yelling at myself in my car before going to the gym, what the fuck is wrong with you? With this game plan to absolutely trash myself in terms of how hard I go in the gym, how intense I push my cardio, and how long. And this continued for months, months on end. And my roommates didn't know. My parents didn't know. I was continuing to follow a very, very rigid diet at the time because I thought that was the only way to lose fat at the time. This was, mind you, my first ever fat loss attempt. And there was this core drive and desire to prove within myself that I could be disciplined, that I could follow through, that I could cut out these foods, I could cut out eating out. But all that led to was more cravings, one meal turning into 2, turning into 3, turning into eating that I could not stop. And when I tell you that this went on for months and I never opened up, I never told the truth because I was so fucking afraid of what other people would think about me and what my roommates would think about me, what my parents would think about me if I opened up about it. I was much more concerned about people seeing me as a failure rather than being truly honest about how I was doing. And the reason that I share that is because we can go to extreme ends and extreme measures to keep a secret. And I would argue, as humans, we're pretty damn good at keeping secrets. Unless you're like me and you're really fucking excited about the secret that you're trying to keep and you spoil it before it happens almost every single time. But this isn't one of those things that you're excited about. Because we will always hide from the truth and do whatever we can to hide from the truth. Change doesn't happen, transformation doesn't happen when you're hiding. Until you look at yourself dead in the mirror and feel what it feels like to be where you are, you will just continue to live in secrecy. You will just continue to skip reps in the gym because you're tired and you don't want to be there. You'll just continue to feel insecure when your partner intimately touches you. You will just continue to make up reasons why you can't go out with friends, all because you hate how your clothes fit. So my question to you is, where are you? Really? I wish that I had somebody in my ear to ask me that question when I was hiding from my truth and dwelling in, honestly, a lot of inner pain and frustration with myself. My question to you is, what do you not want to share with yourself? Because the longer that you do not tell the truth, the longer that you just get to live in indecision, the longer that you don't have to pick a path. Oh, I'm confused. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I want. Bullshit. You do. You just don't want to say it. You just don't want to admit it. You just don't want to look at yourself in the mirror and feel it and experience it. Real shit. Have you ever had a friend who was clearly struggling in their relationship and you ask them, hey, are you happy in your relationship? And they say, you know, when it's good, but when it's bad, it's bad. It's like anyone else's relationship. No. I didn't ask that. I asked if you were happy. That's a yes or a no. And in that situation, 9 times out of 10, nobody wants to say no. Because the moment that you do, you'll probably end up packing the bags. The moment that you do admit you need to change. And we associate change with discipline, with commitment, with follow through, with risk of failure. And we think that all of that is so scary and so painful that we'd rather go back to what is more familiar. We'd rather go back and repeat the same cycles, repeat the same loops, struggle with the same things, live in our own heads, become our worst enemies, than uproot every single behavior, habit, and pattern that has been holding us back from creating a transformation in our lives, top to fucking bottom. We are not hardwired as humans to openly admit what is truly causing us pain internally. Our brains are not designed to do that. Our brains are designed to keep us away from any kind of threat, any kind of pain. While brains used to fight off saber-toothed tigers and survive at all costs and find food and live in caves. Our brains are now hardwired to avoid pain, judgment, failure, anxiety. But the truth is, without feeling that, without experiencing that, without failing, without expressing where you feel ashamed, guilty, embarrassed, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Until you feel it, until you speak up about it, until you ask for help, until you share where you really are with not just yourself, but with someone who really fucking cares about you, you'll just hide in it. And the longer that you hide in it, the longer that you live in secrecy, the longer you repeat the same loops, the same patterns, and choose the easiest, most comfortable, most certain path for yourself. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that you want to continue making those decisions. I don't think that you want to keep living in indecision. I think you want to be someone that's decisive. I think you want to be someone that follows through on commitments. I think you want to be someone who's unafraid of failure. I think you want to be someone that's highly adaptable and finds a way to commit to themselves and their goals and themselves personally, even when times get a little bit challenging, even when you get a little bit busy, even when life changes and flips on its head, you stay committed to yourself. I think that's the person that you want to be. But you're not going to grow by not making decisions. You are where you are, and you are 1,000% responsible for where you are in this moment right now because of the decisions that you made in your past. And nothing changes if nothing changes. So start making different decisions. Start making the simple decisions that you might think are harder, but make your life a lot easier after you make them. Tell the fucking truth about where you are until you experience what your real truth is, how you really feel about yourself when you are by yourself. Nothing will change. You're human. We all make mistakes. It's part of the process, and it is a prerequisite for growth. Without failure, without feeling any kind of pain, for where we're at right now, nothing changes. And from here, if I can tell you one thing, it's don't continue to live in shame or guilt for being where you are right now. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, feel through it, and talk about it. Because you can look at everyone that you think is very successful, that you admire in your life, and I guarantee you every single one of them has had a moment where they had to tell the truth to themselves and make a big change. Without that, without your truth, you aren't who you are. Without your truth, without your struggles, you don't have the opportunity to grow. You don't have the opportunity to become stronger. You don't have the opportunity to write your story. So beating yourself up any longer for being here, it's just not worth it. At some point, you have to cultivate the courage within yourself to say, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to change, no matter fucking what. And from that point forward, you will. Make it happen. If you enjoyed this episode, if it was helpful, please share it with a friend that needs to hear it. If you need to re-listen to this again, do it. Make it happen. And share this to Instagram story. Tag us, tag myself, tag Beyond Built. It goes a really long way for us. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.